launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, March 25th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. If there was any part of you that was considering making a trip out to the Midwest for the Indy Pro in a few weeks, allow me to make that decision just a little bit easier for you. Because Justin Rodriguez just announced that he's throwing his hat into the ring. So far this year, he's already put together 2 spectacular performances, including his second place finish in Boston 2 weeks ago, where I think the general consensus was that he came in at his all-time best. And if you ask Justin and his team, they still believe that he's got a lot left in the tank and plenty of room to improve this year. So don't be surprised if we get another lights-out look from Justin in Indy, because no one's coming into that show with more momentum than him. Earlier this week, we also had a chance to hear from Dorian Haywood, who announced that he's also planning to compete at the Indy Pro again this year. Last year, Dorian finished 4th there behind Justin, Mohamed El-Imam, and Blessing Awodibu, and that really set the stage for him to have the most successful season of his pro career. In the handful of updates that we've seen from him over the last few weeks, he looks like he was ahead of the pace set heading into last year's show. And he said that he and his team are planning to really crank up the intensity over the next 2 weeks to dialing in his conditioning. So if he can pick up where he left off last year, it looks like there's a real shot that we see him seriously contend for a top 2 spot in Indy. And we have one more Indy Pro update for you, and this one comes from you courtesy of the boogeyman himself, Blessing Awodibu, as he prepares to bring his new and improved look back to the Indy stage in a few weeks. As I mentioned in the last segment about Dorian Haywood, Blessing placed 3rd in his pro debut in Indy last year, and everything that we've seen from him dating back to the start of his prep leads you to think that he's on track to blow last year's look out of the water. To his credit, last year's experience really seems to have taught him some valuable lessons, and it seems like he's done a nice job of channeling all that into his off-season progress. And if what we're seeing in the gym ends up translating to the stage, he might end up giving Justin all he can handle. And before we sign off for the weekend, we've got another brand new update from Rafa Brandao as he continues to work towards his season debut at the Arnold South America. At this point, Rafa is just over 4 weeks out, and the general consensus from people who've seen him out in Vegas is that he's completely locked in right now. Aside from the fact that the Arnold South America is in his home country of Brazil, one other thing that's worth noting about Rafa right now is that he's already Olympia qualified because of the win he secured at the end of last season, which probably takes some of the pressure off. So not only is he coming into this show healthy and not dealing with injuries like he was at the end of last year, he's also playing with house money. And if he pushes all the chips to the center of the table, this could end up being one of the biggest scores of his career. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.